this is what triggered my eating disorder. This is what caused my eating disorder. This one event when I was 15 years old, this is what started it. And now today I'm 44 years old. Stop that. Don't forget to subscribe and check out my resources below. If you want to speak with me, there is a link in the box. Last week I reviewed Never Binge Again, but I had so many points that I didn't finish. So I'm going to make part 2. And I thought that if I made all my points in one video, it would be too long and you wouldn't watch it. So I split it. Last week I talked about the squealing pig, the survival mechanism that has gone wrong, good and bad reasons to binge, living as a slave to the pig's impulses, and I talked about discomfort. You have to live with the discomfort sometimes. When you make that change, when you make that initial leap, it's going to feel bad because something is missing. There's a void in your life and you miss it. Changing your priorities, changing your preferences, changing the way you do things, changing your MO, it's never fun in the beginning because there's so much inertia in your head. There's so much resistance. So you feel that. You feel it when you decide to say no, but you still have that craving and you tell yourself, it's just one more time. It's just one more time. Problem is, one more time turns into 100 more times. But you keep repeating that one more time because you're not ready to make that leap. Anyway, let's talk about some of the points I want to make in this video. The first one is F it, or F-U-C-K it. Screw it. Have you ever said that where you say, screw it? When you say that, what you're saying is, it's not worth making this change right now. You've reached your maximum. You've reached your limits, and you just can't say no anymore. That's when it's really easy to capitulate and say, screw it. I'll start tomorrow, I'll start next week. And you're constantly procrastinating, you're constantly delaying that change. It's so easy and dangerous to say, F it. It becomes this easy excuse that you repeat over and over and over. When you say F it, you're saying no to everything that you want in life. You're saying no to better body, better health, more attraction, more confidence, improved body image. So never say that. Never say F it, screw it, to your goals. Your goals are worth more than that. The truth is, you can always go a little farther. You can always tolerate a little more. You can always push yourself a little more. Just because it feels uncomfortable in the moment to say yes to your goals and say no to another episode doesn't mean that you should say F it. If you just keep going a little more, you're going to get the result that you want. Livingston writes, learning to recognize and ignore the F it squeal is without a doubt the most significant benefit of the never binge approach. Yes, so you have to recognize it. You have to recognize it when you say it, because when you say that, you're giving up. You're telling yourself that you can't go anymore. Replace this mentality with, I can go a little farther. Now let's talk about counting the days. This comes from 12 steps, which I'm not a big fan of. If you got good results with 12 steps, great. Okay, I'm not going to argue against it. Some people go through 12 steps and they do better, but I have some objections to the whole 12-step thing. I have objections to OA, AA, and my big objection to it is this, one of them, is this idea of counting. You're always counting the days from your last episode. So you start at 1 and then you keep going. The problem is this creates a perfectionist mentality. What happens when you get to day 58, 59, 60, 61, and then you have an episode for some reason, you feel like all is lost and you have to start over again. That's a really deflating feeling, to feel like you have to start over again. The truth is, you don't have to start over again. And recovery isn't perfect. I say that recovery doesn't start the day that you become perfect. Recovery starts whenever you want it to start. You just need to accept challenges and setbacks. Livingston writes, counting the number of days it's been since you last binge is like counting how long you've been obeying the law. Exactly. So you obey the law every day. I mean, you don't run stop signs, you don't run red lights, you don't steal. You just do that because it's the right thing to do. And that's the point you need to get to. You need to get to a point where binging, purging, chewing, spitting, it just doesn't occur to you because it's not something you would do. When you binge, you're not breaking any law, but you need to get to a point where it's not even a consideration. You wouldn't consider doing hard drugs, most of you. You wouldn't consider shoplifting. You wouldn't consider going 100 miles an hour on a highway. Why would you not do that? Because the consequences are so high. The danger is binging becomes so normal, so routine, that you lose perspective. You forget how deranged and unhealthy it is. The next point is soul searching. Yes, you don't need to search your soul. You don't need to plumb the depths of your mind. You don't need to find that one event in your childhood that created all this. You don't need to be Tony Soprano with his psychiatrist or his therapist or whoever, searching, going way back and going through your file cabinet and trying to find the reason why you're binging. Livingston says you don't need to know the reason why you binge, you just need to stop binging. You don't need to find the cause of binge eating, but you need to find the reasons that you give yourself. Reasons like, it's not worth it, it's too hard, I don't want to do this today, what's one more episode, I can start next week, it's not that big of a deal. We have all of these justifications, and when you use these justifications, you find a way to legitimize the behavior. This is a really slippery slope, because you can always find a reason, you can always find a justification. You're never going to run out of excuses to do it. So yes, you don't need to find the seminal event in your childhood that made you binge. I see this in Facebook groups a lot. People say, this is what triggered my eating disorder. This is what caused my eating disorder. This one event when I was 15 years old, this is what started it. And now today I'm 44 years old. Stop that. Before you have an episode, take a few seconds and ask yourself, what is the reason? What justification do I have for doing it? And the truth is, there's really no good reason. So stop soul searching, stop searching for that cause, quit analyzing your childhood. Even if you did find the cause, you would still have to find a way to stop doing it. Livingston writes, while binges are often associated with emotional experiences, and therefore serve as an excellent jumping off point for soulful exploration, they do not and cannot cause you to binge. This is correct. No emotion, no trigger, no thought can make you binge. I don't like that word, make. It's very mechanistic. It's very deterministic. It's like if I see a neon sign in the donut store and it says hot donuts, then I have no choice. Or if I pass 20 fast food restaurants on a highway, therefore I'm going to binge. Or somebody said something, or this happened, triggered me. That's why I don't like the word triggers either. There's no such thing as a trigger if you think about it. There are certain cues, there are certain experiences, certain words that can elicit those thoughts, that can start a cycle, but nothing can make you move your arm and your mouth. I can't put an electrode on your brain and make you move your arm in that way. It's always a conscious decision. Even when you feel like it's autopilot. You ever heard that? I was on autopilot. No, you weren't. You chose this in the heat of the moment because the pain was too much. The pain of not having the binge was too much for you. So you said, screw it, I'll start another time. You gave yourself some excuse. But the stress, your circumstances, the weather outside, whatever, none of that caused you to do anything. Do you agree or disagree with this book and my opinions? Let me know in the comments below. Also, let me know if you've actually read the book. Hope you found this video educational and entertaining. Don't forget to subscribe and check out my resources below. If you liked this video, I'm sure you'll like one of the other videos that you see on the screen. Click one of them, and I'll see you there.